Alright. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, I guess. I am Ishak Rose bin Shamrose, and this is my presentation for the high fidelity mockup prototype for my group, which works on work from home. Okay. Um, so let's start with the table of contents. So I'll be talking about the overview, the overall physical DFB, DFD, I mean, the individual module, self-reflection, and prototype demo. Okay, so in the overview of the project, first let's start with introduction. So since we know that COVID-19 hit a lot of places around the world, organizations need workers to work from home. But since working at home, their attendance system like punching cards can be used. So that's why we have to develop a system that would automate that task and allow us to work online. So our stakeholders information is the name of the stakeholder is Megah Holding SDMBHD, and they instruct us to make a work from home system for their employees. Okay, so Megah Holding SDMBHD wants their attendance system to allow head of department to access the information, and then they want the head of department to check if their employees have uh, like checking their real-time record data. Okay, and then for employees, we will allow them to check in attendance and record it. Okay, so the objectives are record all employee daily attendance. Two, ease monitoring process. Three, to ease the request of approval from head of the departments, because the employee can also request for approvals. Okay, and then lastly is to ease the communication between employees and every department. Right. Next. So this is the overall UI flow. Okay, we start from the startup screen, and then we go to the login screen, which we can go to the create account, the main menu, the QR code before, and the QR code after. So this is the loading screen where the app will first start with, and then this is the login screen where the employee will input their username, password, and then they can either choose to use this, or they could also use the Facebook and Google if they choose to. Or if the user has not made the account yet, they need to click the plus icon, and then they have to create an account like this. And then after they created the account and login, this is the dashboard where there's options for approval, attendance, and then if you click on the white box here, this is chatting with the head of department. So this is my name, Isharus, and then this is the head of department, Muhammad Azlan. So for my module, I'll be talking about attendance. So if the user click on attendance, this is what they see: a QR code that tells us at the bottom here that the attendance has not been taken yet. So if the user scan the attendance, they will say, the time that the attendance has been taken is like so. So that's all for the UI. Alright, so now for the overall physical DFD, this is our overall processes. So the employee can request approval, go to the database, and then send it to the HOD when he's online. And then the HOD will provide approval, which sends it to the employee when they're online. And then employee will scan for attendance. This is my part, okay? And then there's HOD can monitor the attendance and then display it to them. And then employees and HODs can also communicate with each other. All right. So next, this is my individual module, which is the process 5. So like if you see before, process 5 is down here. So this is the explosion, okay, the chart diagram for process 5. First the employee will log in, and then it will verify. So if there's matching password and matching username, then allow login. If not, it will like just display an error. And then the employee can also scan after that he can choose to scan the attendance with the QR code. And then if that is done successfully, it will key in the attendance data. If not, it will just automatically log out. Okay, so now for my self-reflection. I have learned a lot during SAD, such as like time planning, like segregating tasks, like dividing tasks to specific people, and then we need to gather data. So like for example, when we start designing program, we need to schedule our projects and then plan out a little bit on what data flow diagrams or processes we're going to use. But before all of that, we first need to do like research and data gathering. So who in our system are going to be like the main people? So for this case is like the employee, HOD, and manager, right? So then we need to ask them a question like what will he do, and then what does he expect, and stuff like that. and then we take the information that we learned, and then we design a simple DFD, and then we work from there. Okay, then we, after like having a rough sketch of what to do, we do a bit of like project feasibility studies, yeah, using the cost benefit analysis. And then we can do project work breakdown structure, which is like the tree, and then you tell them like what phase is for what task needs to be completed in that phase. And then we can also, like, from the work breakdown structure, we make Gantt charts like in the project scheduling before. And then we also need to know about operational levels and the system development life cycle, the 7 stages. Okay. Next, after we have like done the idea, like we have a more further grasp, we can start working on like the inputs and outputs based on what we researched data gathering before. So to easily know like the input and outputs, you can do decision trees and decision tables, or structured English. This is what we call process specifications. Okay, and then lastly, we can, once the back end is done, we can start designing a front end, which is input, output, and user interface design. So all of these concepts are applied into making a high fidelity prototype. And for me, I used Figma because it helps us to helps me to smoothen the process of designing the UI. Okay, so that is all for my SAD presentation. Now let's go to the prototype demo. So we'll go to the Google Chrome. So this is the overall UI flow. So you can see like this is Figma, like said before. So if you try to run this, it will be like here. So if I click it, it will say work from home, and then say like the user needs to create account. So he click create account, and then he types the data, and then he can log in. Okay, and then after that he can choose to check for attendance, and then you can see that down here it says attendance has not been taken. Okay, so you just scan the attendance, and then it says that's the time. All right, so that is all for my demo. Thank you.